wild years, man. Especially when you're running wild and you ain't around the right crew. 20s, that's what 20s you lose your 30s if you don't necessarily have your 20s in order.
Wow.
And 30s is as I look at other nationalities, 30s is the years that you blossom. I was at this dude, one of the dudes at my job. He's talking. He's 47. But he was saying nowadays he only worked 3 days a week. Like, but he put in the work his first 20 years to get to this point. Now he on a golf course 2 to 3 days. When you hear that lifestyle, now he still work hard down to 3. He was saying that 3 days he worked a week. He worked Tuesday through Thursday. That's all his schedule is. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. He worked going to the office at 7, and he's done with 7. But it's like the catch is only work 3 days a week. I'm like, damn. But he started at 27, 25, and now he got to that point. For some of us, and that's what I tell everybody. You got to a point where you got to put in 20 hard years where you started. That's it depends on where you start.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Some people, like these young boys who say in my classroom, they might get started at 25.
Yeah.
So by the time they my age, they on the golf course.
Video, this whole thing, like 30 is the new 20. 40 is the new 20. Like, that's a big problem because I keep saying that too many kids and their parents have too many common interests. When I was growing up, you know what I'm saying? Not that I didn't like my mom and dad's music, but there was a difference between Jada Kiss and Luther Vandross. You know what I'm saying? Now, like, y'all watch the same TV station. Y'all watch. How can the kid grow when you ain't grown up yet?
I'm sitting here talking. My niece, she was watching Grown Ups with her daughter. I'm like, don't try to tell people, but I'm like, why? This is not a movie. This is, we talking about, it's a, like I said, it's PG-13. I might have to wait over. My other little niece is there. I'm like, listen, she shouldn't be watching this. You know what I mean? You got to be conscious of it. But when you have kids at 18, 25, are you really? You know what I mean? You still a kid yourself in most cases. Especially if you have a baby at, before you, I say 22, man, you're a kid, man.
Right.
You're a kid. You are a kid. Like, you really don't even know what yourself is. And so, again, coming back to how do you work on the solution when that's a problem?
Exactly.
When the whole community with African American, that's how rites of passage.
Right.
Like, you got to have a kid before you're 21. I'm looking at. There's probably, I would say 60 to 70% of guys I grew up with had kids, before they were 24, 25. Matter of fact, probably like 90% of people had kids. So now you got immature boys, lustful boys being so-called fathers to kids, and then you got, irresponsible young ladies having that responsibility of being a mother. They're not really good for them.
That goes to Mr. Cheeseburger point whenever you had said, I was talking about, like, that lustful piece. 90% of the kids in our community ain't born out of love. That's a whole nother thing.
My man, I told myself we are lustful people, my man, but listen, this week he was like, he said, are we more lustful than other people, or are we just less careless? I'm like, wow. We're careless. You know what I mean? We ain't lustful because everybody had that lust. I'm like, damn, thank you, I stand corrected. Because as a human being, as human beings, we're lustful. But the thing is, maybe other nationalities wear condoms. Maybe other nationalities are selective with who they have sex with. Right. Maybe they're selective with who they decide to have unprotected sex with. I was like, wow, I stand accused, man. Everybody's lustful. We just more careless. We're born anything, man. Yeah. We were born anything, Shawn. Anything. God. You see some stuff like, who hit that? You know what I mean? Like, not only that, who went up in that wrong?
Right. You got kids?
Yeah. 5 of them. So you had to look like maybe the first one, maybe he was a banker. You know what I mean? Like, on the first one, but that last one's like 6 months. You can't tell me you look any better than you did 9 months ago. You know what I mean? Somebody went up in that. Oh, man, but you see cats around, man, bro. Yeah, man, I'm just thinking about the conversations my mom had with me, about sex. That was juvenile. My mom's conversation about sex was juvenile. Don't do it. You know what I mean? Keep a worm in your pants. Like, I'm my age. Mom had me at 25. about my age. I'm like, damn, that's how I would talk to my son or my daughter, the way my mom talked to me. Keep your worm in your pants. You know, goddamn worm, mom. I mean, that's not a worm, goddammit. Don't do it. Like, come on, man. I was like Bobby the shit. Like, you the devil, mom. I love it. You know what I mean? I like it. You the devil, mom. You know, I'm like, girls are the devil. No, you are the devil. You know what I mean? About that thing I done last night. You know what I mean? That little shot I got last night. I don't even want to be around you, but it's crazy. I think we had that conversation a couple days ago about how now I'm finally at a point where I'm ready to pick my queen. Right. But now my choices are limited. You know what I mean? Like, now I got baggage, and the majority of those people in their late 30s and 40s gonna have baggage. Versus, you know, you get married in your 20s, you're eliminating that baggage a little bit earlier.
Oh, are you though? Are you? Because I mean, in your early 20s, I mean, you might not even really pay attention to you having baggage. You know what I mean?
How much baggage do you have?
That's what I'm saying. But like in your 20s, like sometimes like in your 20s, it's like you feel like you're invincible, and you don't really like, even if you have baggage, it's like, well, hey, I'm not really gonna open it up yet. If you in your late 30s, you know what I'm saying, you might be more willing to even, maybe even more seasoned to deal with the baggage. So you might, I don't know, you might be at an advantage.
That's a good way to look at it. When I say baggage, when you're looking for a husband, when you're looking for a wife, how many bad relationships have you been through? You understand?
Yeah.
So, and on the flip side, I was talking to somebody yesterday, baggage is not necessarily like, I didn't had great women. I have had great women. So, here's my baggage. I like this sister for her brain. I like this sister for being career driven.
Right.
I like this sister for her body. Right. I like this sister for her social skills. And I'm trying to put all of them in one shorty. That's baggage. That's impossible. You know what I mean? That's what I say. Baggage ain't necessarily a negative thing. It's that's the baggage I come with, because I'm trying to take all these great characteristics from the women I've came across and put it in one. Right. On the flip side, you have, you know, you might have a sister who, you know, might be in the same, like this guy for this guy, or you might have a sister who's been in 3 or 4 relationships, 5 long-term relationships. She's bringing that experiences into her 40s, and so when you get to, when both parties get together, instead of looking at you as a clean slate, I'm looking at you from my experiences. You're not doing it purposely though. When you're in your 20s, you're fresh out of college, you might have had, you had a puppy love relationship. You might have had 1 3 to 5 year relationship. When you get to your 40s, you're gonna have 4 or 5 of those. Right. Okay. A couple kids. Stress, because if you're not married, you done dealt with baby's mama. You know, when people hear that word stress, man, they think that you pulling your hair out. Stress is, you know, taking the body out of its norm. So if you're dealing with somebody who you naturally wouldn't deal with, that's gonna add some level of stress. Right. Dang, that's powerful. You know what I mean? So that comes with you. That's the baggage. Now I dealt 18 years with my daughter's mom. I dealt 18 years with my son's mom. I would have never dealt with any of those shorties. Once we broke up, I would have never had anything to do with you again in my life. But because I had a kid back, I had to deal with you. That wouldn't add stress onto my life, because I don't want to deal with you, but I have to. Right. So whenever you're doing something that the body won't want to do, that's stress. You're stressing muscles. Your body ain't going to put heavy ass muscles, but that's a good stress because you're trying to work something out. But you're still stressing your body. So a lot of times we don't look at that, but when you go into your 40s, my point is, when you go into your 40s, you realize, I'm like, damn, I got some stuff with me. But a lot of us don't want to talk about that. And both parties, you know what I mean? So, to my point, when you're 20, you know, you meet somebody, you catching them right before they get to life, and if, you don't even care. I said, I like the fact that, you know, at least y'all putting the effort to try to make it happen, and you're not adding a baby to that. So that there's a chance. You know what I mean? There's a chance.
That's powerful stuff.
There's a chance. Good brother. You know, he was just saying things don't work out, but he's angry. You know what I mean? I got his perspective. I ain't get his wife's perspective, but you know, his wife did some foul stuff, right? So he's going off, you know what I mean, saying this, and I'm like, you know, brother, for one of my old brothers, so I got to give you a different perspective. You know what I mean? Y'all got a son together. So you got to be conscious of that energy, because no matter what, if you feel that strongly about his mother, you might not say it, but it's not gonna feel your energy.
Exactly.
Because when you call your asm or roll, your son is right there. When he's so used to seeing mom, he for the first few years of half of his life, he didn't see mom and dad in the same bedroom. Now he's seeing mom and dad beefing. We gotta be conscious, but how do you be conscious of that? Because you angry.
Right.
So I told him, you're right to be angry,
right.
but you just gotta be, you gotta be conscious of that. But that's baggage now. Because when you go to the next one, he might be looking at her like, you know what I mean? Based on, and that's just natural.
Right.
We all say we got a clean slate, man.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. Man, that's true.
It's hard to have a I'm 45 and I buried 30-something people, man. That's crazy. I mean, close friends, man. They looking at me like, wow, I can't relate. It's like, you know, why is that can't be natural. But other folks, other communities, that they don't, you know, somebody died might be of a health issue. You know what I mean? When you got like half of people dying from violent deaths, man, you're like, that's not normal,
right?
That's not normal, man.
Right.
The people say, oh man, I hate, I see people's point, but you know, people say, man, you're a dude called me, you're a miracle, and it's like, damn. You know, you come out the hood, that's what people think of you, man. Like, you're not supposed to be here, and I was like, who said I'm not supposed to be here, man? Like, but you know, according to statistics, and looking at, you know, what's the ratio, what's the possibility of somebody coming through that environment and getting to where people perceive me to be, you know, that's not supposed to happen. So I understand it, but that's just sad that type of expectations put on your life.
Right.
And I was watching Planet of the Apes, and the main character was a scientist. No, I'm sorry. Planet of the Apes and Hulk. Both these cats were scientists, and I'm like, how did you become that? Like, you know, there's a whole laboratory. Like, how you become that? And like, why can't we do that? Who says, like, to your point, who says only people out in the suburbs are geniuses or able to come up with new inventions? Who says that? Our kids are just as creative, man, but you know, the environments they're in doesn't nurture that type of talent.
It's those standards, man. I'm over up in the Jacks up in the hill today, right? And no disrespect to anybody's aspirations, but you know, this lady had moved on the other side of the street. She went from an apartment to one of the houses, still the projects. And I was happy that she was happy that she finally got a house, but the way she was talking about it was as if she moved to Mountain Lebanon. She's like, I need to get my kitchen set yet. And I'm the kids right here, so I'm like, damn, like me, I understand the situation, but he's 10 years old. No matter how smart he is, he's seeing that, you know, be proud of even this. You know what I'm saying? Like look at this. Like my family, everybody came over and it's telling how nice it is. It really wasn't really too nice. But this 10-year-old's mind like his.
This is what I said. Yeah,
this is what he's seeing.
This is what I'm expecting.
This is what he's seeing. So that's why every time I get him, we go up to Upper St. Clair. We go up to Adams Ridge, up in these places, so I can show him to challenge what he's seeing at home. Now, like you told me about the 19,000 hours, 1 hour a week can only do so much whenever you saturated in that.
Cool, but if your standards are so low over here and you don't see nothing else, when your school, community, and home standards are low, there's only an act of God that can get you out of that situation. When your home, community, and school standards are low, where do you get your, Shawn, you're the fourth piece. You know what I mean? So you're the fourth piece, so you are the clean light that he sees, but he sees low expectations in the school, low expectations in the home, low expectations in his community. And those are the three biggest pockets in spending this time.
That is so true.
Damn.
That's a great way to.
And our kids, we will understand. That's what our kids see, man. That's what our kids see, Shawn P. Like, you ain't got a chance. That makes me proud, that there, boy. And you talking about thousands of kids. I'm sorry, millions. Because it ain't just in Pittsburgh, it's Chicago, it's Philly, Philly school system is ridiculous. Atlanta, you know what I mean? Florida, yeah, all these, you know, Alabama, all these inner city schools and these impoverished school systems are pumping out second class citizens, man, who have no aspirations to become anything more. Places like Chicago, you can grow up in the hood, but go somewhere and see blacks doing swell.
Right.
You can see that in LA.
Right.
You can see that. In Atlanta, you can see that. You can see somebody who you can go poor. Let's do a field trip in Pittsburgh. You go downtown. I'm amazed when I see brothers that got a suit or a look. Yeah, I'm amazed. I'm a grown ass man. You know what I mean? So you imagine a boy when you go downtown, which is, you know, our corporate setting, because Oakland is not necessarily, Oakland is a business district, but that's mostly a college district. But where do a young African American boy, a young African American sister go and see a profession where they can dream?
Right.
You go downtown, man, you see us sweeping up butts. You know what I mean? Where you see us serving people.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm in the US 6 building, and I'm like, damn, how many brothers I see with a suit on?
Right.
I mean, I'm in that, you know, I forgot how many thousands of workers there are in the US 6 building, man. Thousands of workers. You talking about, if I seen 20?
Right. Like in time, man, you don't really, that's true.
On, man. How many, and not saying that because a brother have a suit on, and, you know, the brother might be in uniform and not straight, but as a young brother, you know, how do you see where's the like diversity and opportunities for you? You know what I mean? You mostly see us in uniforms, you mostly see us dusty, and, you know, other metropolitan areas give you more diversity of choices. And that's powerful. You know what I mean? And here I can understand why some cats, you know, some reason why cats want to be who they want to be, because if there's one person like me and you to every 1,000, man, what do you know?
So you saying, so my whole point of bringing up Tyrese was just to say, like, the individuality. So do you think that you can, there's an individual, like I remember one time you said self-discovery is critical thinking is a part of something along those lines. So do you think that like individuality is something that is coached, or do you think that it's like, how does somebody get to that point where, like, you know what, I don't care what they doing, this is me right here?
That's a $1 million question, because we live in a copycat society. You know, I've heard in my generation, man, like you if somebody had the same pair of shoes on you, man, you went crazy. You know what I mean? You ain't want to wear them again. You went all the way out Monroeville to get a pair of shoes that you knew nobody had in your, you know, in your school. So, you know, make sure your polo shirts ain't look like nobody else. Versus that's different nowadays. Everybody, it's a culture where everybody want to be like anybody. So, you know, Tyrese is in his 30s, bro. You know what I mean? There was this, I should have asked him, man. There was this young brother that come to the barbershop, man. Dude wear cowboy boots. He got his own style.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, where you from? He like, East Hills? I'm like, dude, you from East Hills? But I'm like, yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? He got his own style. Right. You know what I mean? It ain't corny. I'm like, dude. Right. But that's, you know, he ain't your typical. Exactly. And he's confident in who he is. He rocking the hell out of his boots, man. I give him like, dude, I like that, man. Right. But next time I'm building, I'm like, well, how do you get to that point? Maybe you go to Kappa. I don't know. You know what I mean? But, you know, to your point, that's not promoted. You know what I mean? Yeah, because, you know, that individual, and I think that goes from, you know, I think that's probably embedded in your head. You understand, from your parents telling you to be an individual, stop being like everybody else, and then you got to decide. Because there are parents who say, you know, who talk like that, and people still are copycats, but I think it starts from home when you're telling somebody to be an individual, then he or she has to buy in and say, you know what, I'm an individual. But for the most part, man, when you're watching that television, man, if you ain't got your kid in multiple activities and away from that television, how do you know how important it is to be an individual? Right. When your mother looking like Lil' Kim or looking like Beyonce, where's individuality being, baby? preach. Your father's walking around, you know what I mean, looking like Lil Wayne. You know what I mean? How are you gonna talk to you about individuality when he's not necessarily practicing this? So,
damn, your mom, that's true. That's true.
Your mom going out every day, every weekend, dressing like a, you know what I mean, dressing like a younger person. And his mom, he dude in the video rock with his mom calling herself a bad bee. You like, my mom, like you rock with his mom. Imagine that.
Yeah.
When you on these celebrity man, you see girls driving because they hard as dudes. They got their baby in the back. You know what I mean? Listening to that music, they leaning. Like, you got your baby in the back listening to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, imagine you're a 1-year-old and you looking at your mom like, oh,
common interest.
Yeah.
That's them common interests.
Right. I'm telling my niece, you got to be conscious of that. But my niece is fortunate that her daughter's got fathers and got me and got a grandfather. But I'm like, ooh, you got to be careful. You shouldn't be in there rocking, and you got to role play with kids, man. You know, or once they know where you stand, like, you know, my daughter and son, you know, my daughter's much better now. You know, she'll be like, Dad, listen to this. I'm like, okay, but I shouldn't be rocking. I know you're gonna be rocking some crazy stuff, but you ain't gonna see me too often. I can come over to that side, but for the most part, we're gonna listen to a certain type of music. This is who I am. But I guess I probably have established that more than a younger person because they're older now. Versus, you know, ain't no way in hell I'll be listening to certain things with my daughter in the car, man. Ain't no way she's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ain't no way in hell I'm listening to certain rap music, certain music with her in the car. And that's how I don't listen to it.
At you, I'm like, yo, when I'm in my 40s, I want to, you know what I'm saying, you give me something to look. So when I'm me in my 20s, why would I want to be jealous and if a kid say, oh, you in your 20th and Z? Dude, you should be trying to get like me. So we need to be giving kids something to look forward to instead of saying 40 is the new 30. 30 is the new 20.
No, and I think that people take that context of when I said, you're not saying you were saying that, but when I said, I'm thinking 40s has a young feel to it. Right. Sometimes you think that when you 20, like right now, you couldn't go. You probably think 40. That's a long ass way from now, bro. Versus I'm in it like, yo, this feels good. Right. So it's not. You right. Ain't no way in hell it's new 20, bro. It ain't. But I'm just saying, you could still be youthful. Right. You know what I mean? In your 40s, but ain't no way I shouldn't be sagging. Right. I should be conducting myself. I just got a different pep, in my step because of where I'm at. But. It's nothing new. No, you can't say that.
When you say it though, here's the thing. When you say it, it's different. How I'm processing it. Like when you say it, it's like I understand what you're saying. But whenever I hear somebody saying like 30 is the new 20, you're saying it in the sense that like you miss your 20s. Right. Like you're not okay with your 30s. You're saying it like, yo, I love my 40s.
Yeah, good point.